What's going on? It is live fire with my dad.
Fire
Hey,
with
what's up?
Dad, baby.
Woo!
Whoop,
Don't you usually have a woo in there?
whoop.
Woo! Okay, so I'm in the home office working today from the house. Had some meetings out and about, but I started a new book last night. I want to get your thoughts on this because obviously we come from different generations. Like you were around when Noah came over on the ship with all the animals. Did you get bit by any animals, by the way, when you were on that, or?
No, I kind of bit them.
Okay. So you've been around in life and in business in a completely different world than is today with technology. So I want to get your
Well,
feedback.
Al Gore hadn't invented the internet yet.
Exactly. Good old Al Gore. Thank goodness for him. So I started reading this book last night called A World Without Email by Cal Newport. I read one of his other books about a month or two ago called Deep Work. And the concept of deep work is this is a little more advanced version. But the concept of deep work is getting you as a professional to not be as distracted by everyday occurrences online, Facebook, Instagram, email, texting, phone calls, messenger, whatever. This book is talking about a world without email. And it's not saying to eliminate email. It's saying from a professional standpoint, it actually, in his opinion, has caused our economy to be a lot smaller than it could have been if people would not let it distract them during the day. Like the one page in here, which is pretty wild. I want to get your feedback on this. It's like I said, you've been around the block, but this is some interesting information right here. One study estimates that by 2019, the average worker was sending and receiving 126 emails per day. That works out to one message every 4 minutes. A software called Rescue Time measured behavior of tracking people's usage of email and messaging programs, and they were sending a message every 6 minutes. And the concept of the book is that when you're a coach, you're a business coach, you're sitting there talking to, who was your last client you met with?
Jen.
So you met with Jen. How long was the meeting? An hour?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. So could you imagine that if every 5 or 6 minutes you talking to Jen, you went, hey, hold on, and emailed people, did something else? Not the fact that you rude as shit, but the fact that you'd be breaking your train of thought, which is your expertise, which is what you do. And that's what this book talks about, is that like this morning, I worked on a project for about 90 minutes. I didn't break from that project at all. And I got a lot accomplished with it. Whereas a lot of people, they're on email and texting and social media and messaging apps. And a lot of times it's for work. And there's this perception that you need to respond, need to check, when in fact you need to not to. You need to wait 4 or 5 hours, bulk that into a little thing, focus on the task at hand. What say ye?
Well, I'll go back to when I even before I was coaching, when I did a lot of speaking. One of the things that was the thing that used to blow me away was this. And I found this out when I had my insurance agency. I was a pretty good sized account for my bank. And so I'd call a bank and say, hey, I want to talk to the manager. Well, he's on the phone. He'll call you back. Well, the one day he calls me back at 5 o'clock. I'm going, Jesus Christ, what the hell's this guy's problem? Okay. And so I finally got talking to him. I says, why did you call me back at 5 o'clock? Every time I call you, he says, the bank rules. I said, what do you mean bank rules? Well, every time we answer the phone, we get distracted. We lose about 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after our phone call because we get distracted. And so it takes us that long to get our brain back into the focus, what we were talking about. So the bank's got a rule. You cannot call back people until 5 o'clock. Because that way you get all day and you're not getting distracted every 5 seconds.
I like that.
And so consequently, he says all the bank's rules are you don't call anybody back. You take a voice message and you take that time period and you call everybody back at that time period. It's the same thing in emails. You get an email and you decide you're going to answer it. Guess what? Whatever you're doing, you've just lost your train of thought, and it may take you 15 minutes to get back on that train. And one of the things I had a couple ladies that have called me about writing a book or writing an article or doing something, and they said, how do you concentrate to do that so you can write something down? I said, well, here's what you do. You get a timer, you get a piece of paper in front of you or a notepad, put a timer on 10 minutes. Put your topic down and write everything that comes to your mind for 10 minutes until a stopwatch, till the thing that buzzes. And you can't do anything else but that. I says, you'll find out you'll have 2 pages with notes. And the reason why is that that's no distractions. And that's the key. The key is even when we had our retail store, the sales guys, if they got distracted, I mean, it'd be 20 minutes to half an hour before they got back on track again. And so emails, all they do is just, they distract you. So you shouldn't be I tell my clients, you have quiet times. Maybe your quiet time involves, emailing a person back, but you do them all at one time. Don't do them every time you get an email. Do them all at one time. So you got all your emails, you send them all back at 4:30, and then you answer everybody. Guess what? Doesn't interrupt you as bad that day.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, a funny story. Remember the time that Richie Young left the office in Florence to go get Dixie Chili and Erlanger and came back 6 hours later with no lunch? Talk about a dude that got distracted. Richie, if you're watching, because we're friends on Facebook, this is on there. We had moved our store from Ellesmere, Kentucky over to Florence, the new location, and we all love Dixie Chili and Erlanger, which if you haven't had it, it's the best chili in town.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Especially their pecan pie. And we're like, man, we got a hankering for Dixie Chili. And Richie like, I got to run an errand, and then I'm going to go to Dixie Chili. And like 3-4 hours later, we're like calling him. Where you at? Oh, I'm coming. We're like, we already ate. And then he ends up showing up with no food. But when you talk about distractions, for whatever reason, you said the boat dealership, Richie came to mind because he was constantly distracted. Is that mom in the background?
Yep.
I can't believe she's not distracting us.
Well, she's just playing with her hair.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty wild because this book, it says in here, this book is my attempt to tackle this crisis, to pull together for the first time everything we know about how we ended up in a culture of constant communication and the effects of it having on our productivity and our mental health. And that's a big thing for me. Like I told Christy last night, she got mad at me last night. We went down. It was the two of us. We got in the hot tub. I got in there 10 minutes before her, and I had my phone with me because I had something I had to do. I wanted to get done before that. And she said something while we're in the hot tub, and I'm like, oh, I got to email that guy. And I did it. She said something else. Oh, I got to text. And later on, I could tell she wasn't happy with me. And so we're talking that night. I said, what's the matter? And she's like, can you ever be present? Like we're in the hot tub chilling. And even though I know I had the intent of doing it, I hadn't turned off yet. And that's one thing I told her, like, this is my third book on this type of that I'm trying to hack myself. Like I'm trying to hack Matt Plapp. How can I hack my productivity? How can I become a better husband, a better father, a better client, employee for my clients that we do stuff for them? I can become a better leader. And that's one thing I've noticed, and the book talks about it. He said, and this is the interesting point, Cal's comment was, his opinion is our economy would be so much bigger because we would have much better advancements. Like, look at the person that's creating the Apple iPhone. Who knows how many times they got distracted when they were doing stuff. Maybe it would have been 10 times better had they not been distracted.
Well, you got to remember that I agree, but productivity is probably way, way down. And the reason why, that's why a lot of corporations now are getting rules that you can't be on the internet, you can't be on this, you can't be on that, because people are just getting constantly distracted all the time, constantly. I mean, your phone, I probably get every bit of 125 emails a day, and 80% I delete. But the thing is, though, you're looking at them going, what's that about? What's this about? What's this about? What's that about? And that's a sad thing of the day. Start organizing your time so you're not doing all that all the time. Now, question.
Yeah.
You actually were doing your third book. Did you finish publishing that yet?
No, not yet. It's almost done. I got a thing back from David 2 days ago from Brawler Publishing. I've got to look through a couple changes, and then I have to finish the last chapter. I haven't finished the last chapter yet. I've got it almost done. I was trying to wrap my head around how to end the book correctly. But yeah, so that book is called Restaurant Marketing That Works, Back to the Basics. And ideally, I'll have printed copies by the first week of May. Well, it might be running late, but who knows? What's up, Mom? Who is that?
Number bobblehead from the Chicago Bears game last year.
Oh, when we went up there.
Sid Luckman.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, ask him where it's been. It's been in the trunk of his car for 2 years.
Probably with a bunch of French fries and old McDonald's coffee cups.
Close,
pretty close.
Next to my green tea that I haven't drank for 2 years.
Well, cool. There's the 2 books, Dad, that people need to buy. I would recommend these to your clients: Deep Work and A World Without Email. I'm one chapter in World Without Email. I'll be reading every night on it and every day. I'm reading that right now and a book by Daymond John.
No, that's what's going to be a title. I saw you went online the other night and you said my new book, and I guess you're referring to a book you're going to start writing. What's the title it's going to be?
I've got a couple books I'm working on. One book I want to write next year, probably later this year, probably next year, is called Hope and Pray Marketing.
Well, that reminds me of something I'd like to start writing myself. I've got a lot of the thoughts together. I got some of the ideas. And that is basically a daily devotional for marketing. And every single day, okay, or every single week, you have a thing that, an idea, and then that whole idea you work on that week.
I like that. So basically, it's like work your way through it. Hey, week 1 of the year, do this, send out these. And then what you could do is you could have it to where every week you add them on top. It might actually every week you might go to like every other week, because here's where I came up with. I had an idea a couple years ago. I was telling a friend of mine who was trying to get back into working out, had a lot of problems health wise. I said, you know what? Hadn't done anything in years. Go out tomorrow and do 10 push-ups, 10 squats, and some type of 10 sit-ups. And they're like, seriously, that's it? And I said, that's more than you did yesterday. I said, do that for 7 days. And it wasn't you, by the way, somebody else.
I'd be dead.
Yeah. I said, do that for 7 days. Do 10, 10, and 10 for 7 days. And then on day 8, do 15, 15, 15. And so we were talking about adding that up. I said, you'll get to the end of the year where you've got an hour workout. And it's the same way with your book. If your book idea, Dad, I think every day is excessive.
Well, I think I might more every week. 52 weeks.
I think maybe every week it depends on how small it was, but if you could get it to where they stack those things, where it's like, hey, do this every day for the next 7 days. And then maybe the second week it's, hey, the stuff you did last week every day for 7 days, do it every Monday and do this every day for 7. And maybe by the time they get through it, they've got a marketing plan built. I could write that with you.
Okay, we can do that.
Would I get exclusive rights to the front cover, or would I have to put you on there with me?
Well, we could do the same thing. We could call it Fire with Dad's book, idea book, weekly devotional.
Weekly market. We could have our cartoons on there.
Exactly. Almost the same picture we're looking at.
Your cartoon looks identical.
I know. I got mine on my Facebook page as my cover on my, what do you call it, profile picture. And I got all kinds of people saying it looks just like it.
Yep. If you're watching this video, whose cartoon looks better or more realistic? Dad's or mine? Now, mine's a little bit of a tough one because I don't wear the goatee all the time. I used to wear it back in the day. But which one do you think looks more like yours? I got to vote for yours. I can't even vote for my own. Like, that looks identical to you. It's like cartoon Dad. Did you see Cookie Matt?
Yeah. Who designed that? How'd they get that cartoon on the thing?
Hand painted, bro. Lady, one of the employees of the company, Lisa. Apparently, that's her neighbor. I'll show it to you. I got it in here still. I haven't eaten Cookie Matt yet. I've been contemplating doing it, but I haven't gotten around to it because she brought them down for the whole team. Well, not the whole team. There was only 8 of us at the meeting that day. Everybody else.
Facebook. They were awesome.
Yeah,
I was going to send a thing on thing. How come I didn't have my cookie? What the hell was wrong with my cookie?
Because you weren't in the meeting.
Oh,
I guess I need to tell Lisa that dad needs a cookie. Here we go. Albert says cartoon Dad wins. So I agree, Albert. I got to agree. But if anybody out there, make sure you let us know. Comment down below. Well, cool. Well, that's all I got today. That's all I got today, brother.
Well, I got one question. You mentioned about having a grill out on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll get with you. I got to buy a grill first. So I'm trying to find the grill. I'm getting the big green egg grill.
Well,
So
how's that different than the Blackstone?
I don't know what a Blackstone is.
Go look it up online.
Yeah, I'm looking at the big green egg. It's I've rave reviews. They've got one that's the XL that comes. You can get with this nice wood. What do you call it? Thing that sits in. So Cole and I are going to work on the new patio this weekend, and then hopefully I'm gonna try. I'll call right after this see if I can find one. But I got to find one for sale. The place near my house, they sold out their last one yesterday morning. So I'm trying to find some places to get one.
Remember that one TV show with with Arnold Schwarzenegger where they ran out of that one toy and he went over to that guy's house and basically beat him up to get the toy?
Yeah.
That'd be you. You're going to some guy's house to get the egg. Hey, how about that egg?
Well, cool. That's all I got.
All right, ching, baby.
See ya.
Fire with Dad. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too.